So, Locarno Festival, Sam Peckinpah retrospective. We have the chance to see all his filmography, and we have the chance to be with the most important person in Peckinpah's life and work.
Thank you for the compliment. I'll take it, but
Katy Haber.
maybe it wasn't. But I accept the compliment.
So it's a great chance for us to ask you questions and to have you here.
Okay.
And if one of the most personal movies he made was Alfredo Garcia, and for me, who are just watching the movies one after another, there is something that I found really shocking, is that at the end of Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, we see Sam Peckinpah, and he's making wood graves.
Right.
And he said, "Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put all inside this, and I'm going to
bury it, and
I'm going to leave this territory."
Right.
And actually, Peckinpah did that, and he went to make Alfredo Garcia.
Yeah.
You know, which is not a western. He picked up Warren Oates and his friends. And I don't know how was the story to arrive into it.
Well, the territory that he left was America. You know, when Richard Nixon was elected president, which funnily enough, if you really have seen Alfredo Garcia, there's a scene with Helmut Dantin at the end of Alfredo Garcia when he comes with the head holding a magazine, the Time magazine, and on the front of Time magazine is a picture of Richard Nixon. Mm-hmm. And when I was working with Sam, when Richard Nixon was elected, he said, "That's it, I'm going to go to Mexico."
Meat in the pot, honey.
Oh.
Bravo, bravo.
Hell, I wasn't trying to hit him, you know.
I know you were.
The movie that talks the most about Peckinpah as a person is his biggest love story, actually.
Yes. He was a lover.
It's a great love story.
Yeah, it's a great love story. Yeah, and it's a love story not between two young kids, but two mature people. And it's a love story which sort of really goes against the grain of what people think of Sam's opinion of women is, you know, which is misogyny and brutality and rape and, you know, all the rest of it. I mean, Elita, or Isela Vega, is the person that really controls that relationship, and the person that really controlled his life and turned Benny around from being just a sort of a bartender, an American bartender in a world that he doesn't really understand, in a language that he didn't speak, in a world full of whores and alcohol and you know, irrelevant and immature male feelings, you know, because most men are immature in their emotional responses, you know. Sorry to say that to you.
You're right.
No?
You're
you know,
right.
women are far more in control in the emotions of relationships.
Ask me then. Ask me.
Will you marry me?
Warren Oates, who really knew Peckinpah for a long time ago, but also Emilio Fernandez, El Indio, was here.
Yes. Emilio Fernandez was the standby director, because when a foreign director comes to Mexico City, not Durango, because we didn't have a standby director in Durango when we were shooting Pat Garrett, but in Mexico City you're shooting with the Mexican Film Union, and you need a standby director. So Emilio Fernandez was on the entire shoot, which was great for Sam, because, you know, he had his compadre.
Yes, yeah. yes, and but besides him, or Warren, or others, there are two actors that are very shocking, the two killers,
Yes.
who we understand are in love with one each other. But how did they arrive to the movie?
I wouldn't say in love, but I don't think Sam could resist. Whether that was in the original script, I don't know, but that scene when Johnny dies and Robert Webb stands over him and goes, "Johnny, Johnny." You know, it's like you know, another movie I did called Blade Runner, when you know it was Harrison Ford an android or not? You know, Sam left that as speculation, but I think it. You know, I think I do not recall it actually being in the script. I think it just happened when we, in the editing, but when we were shooting.
I didn't catch your name, mister. Dobbs. Fred C. Dobbs.
There was definitely an homage to, you know, Humphrey Bogart, you know, when he says Dobbs, Frank C. Dobbs, which is really funny. You know, when he says Dobbs, Frank C. Dobbs,
Yes.
I noticed in the screening yesterday, you know what the translation was?
I don't know.
Humphrey Bogart.
Ah, yeah, it's right. It's right. In the French subtitles, they say Humphrey Bogart. Yeah, it's true.
No.
16 people are dead because of him. And you. And me.
I understood that Emilio Fernandez wasn't only actor and stand-by director, but he made more other things. There is some story with an airplane.
Oh, when we were shooting in the village where he stops the car with the
glass.
to get the ice, I think
Yes.
it was that village. All of a sudden we had to stop shooting because the entire village was full of carabinieri. They came down the side of the mountain with two Americans, and they were pilots of a small aircraft that apparently had left Mexico City. And when it flew out, the carabinieri, for some reason, had drained the plane of all the fuel. So it crashed into the mountainside in this small Mexican town. And these two pilots were brought down the mountain, and they're followed behind them. They were carrying huge bags of something. I am not sure what was in the bags, but everybody was very suspicious. And those bags were taken into the mayor's, the office of the mayor of this small village, and deposited there. So we continued shooting when this all stopped, and Sam called over Emilio Fernandez and said, you know, did you see all those big bags that were just taken into the mayor's office in this small village? And Emilio said yes. And he said, why don't you give me 2 lunch boxes and a bottle of brandy?
Why the lunch boxes?
So that he could sit down with the mayor.
Okay.
And have lunch with him and a bottle of brandy, and to obtain one of those big bags. I mean, there's so much to talk about the filming of it, but it was one of the few films that Sam was able to, you know, have the complete reins, and you know he was free to, you know, to shoot. And you know, Marty Baum gave him the complete reins to shoot it. It was, you know, it was one of the few movies that he had complete control from beginning to end. Was the most, you know, formidable people that just wonderful. I love working with him, and Isela Vega. You know, Isela Vega now is my dearest and closest friend. I just wish she could have been here. You know, and you know, Isela went on to, you know, to do, you know, American films. You know.
Yes.
You know, and Warren. You know, Warren.
She was really big in Mexico at the time.
She still is. Isela, you know, is just finished. The reason she's not here is that she's just done a huge telenovela in Mexico. I mean, she's still working, you know, and she just couldn't.
Okay,
she
great.
just couldn't come.
There is another picture that is very, very beautiful of Sam with Isela on the bed. Sam has his head over
On
her shoulder,
on her shoulder,
and
but she's completely
yes.
naked. I
So
know.
and he is so happy.
I know. You know, she loved him. She loved Warren. It was a love fest. You know, Isella adored Sam and adored Warren, and for that reason, everybody. The movie was a love fest. You know, everybody who was making the film. You know, we were all in love with each other. It was wonderful.
So crazy. It's a movie about love and
Love and respect and
Yeah.
and realization. You know, the whole realization at the end of the film is that he did this all for them, and because of that he lost her, and there was no reason for him to live anymore. So it was suicide. It was suicide by someone
Yeah.
else. You know, it couldn't end any other way because he had nothing left in his life, because she was everything. And he was blinded by all the wrong things. So there was no alternative for him but to take it to that point, you know. Well, what else was he going to live for, you know? So it had to end that way. But he instigated his end because he knew that it had to be that way. But she was the guiding light. It was her and his love of her and her love of him that brought him to that moment of glory or sadness, who knows, but he did go out in a blaze of glory because of her.
Right now. Let's go.
Let's go, Al. Let's go comes from the Wild Bunch. William Holden and Ben Johnson, and they go, the last words before they start is let's go.
yes.
And that's what Warren Oates says in Alfredo Garcia.
That's true.
Al, let's go. And
Yeah.
that's an homage to the Wild Bunch.
And then they laugh.
And then they laugh. And we can say from here, let's go.
Let's go. Thank you very much, Katy. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.